Need a hand? Ah, just a little joke there.
What? What? Whoa!
Welcome to the Fantasy Zone.
Sonic the Hedgehog, the Blue Blur, Mr. Go Fast is one of the most iconic video game characters of all time. Even if you have never played the games, you know Sonic. Maybe not for good reasons, but you know him. I'm definitely a Sonic fan, but it mostly comes from the anime, shitty comics, and especially the cartoons. Sonic Sat AM, Adventures of Sonic, and the best cartoon that had no right being as good as it was, Sonic's Underground.
Whoa!
But if you said to me, hey, wanna play a Sonic game? I'd say, nah. 2021 is Sonic's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, I was gonna play some good Sonic games. But I couldn't think of any. Now to be clear, there are Sonic games that I love and would play any day, but what I like and what is considered good are two completely different things. Even while playing some of the games I remembered liking, I found them to be way worse than I remembered. And eventually I just thought, fuck it, it's a special occasion, why don't I just play every Sonic game I can get my hands on, and see once and for all if my love for this blue rat can hold up after playing the best and worst he has to offer. And no better place to start than the original Sonic the Hedgehog on Genesis. I don't like it. Yeah, this is the first Sonic game ever, and I do cut it some slack for that, but there are just some quality of life improvements that modern Sonic games have added that make going back painful. The main reason I don't like it though is you barely go fast in a game all about going fast. Often I would find myself playing this game like a regular platformer, which I don't want to do because it's Mr. Go Fast, and I'm overly cautious during levels, constantly jumping because the game consistently punishes you for trying to speed through the levels, which I thought was the point. Take this level here. There's a spring right at the start, so naturally I use it thinking I'm going to get a huge burst of speed. But what's at the end? Oh great, a bumper, which just sends me right back, killing any joy I was about to have. That's all this game is, artificial speed. It's just a regular platformer that occasionally lets you go fast for like a second. The actual platformer part is fine, the controls I found to be very responsive and I never had trouble with trickier jumps. If only the game would just let me do the thing it advertises, I wouldn't have a problem. When you collect 50 rings and reach the end of the stage, you get a bonus stage to collect Chaos Emeralds. It's this pachinko-like game where you just bounce all around. I feel like I have little to no control in these, and since getting all the emeralds only give you a slightly different ending, I never bother trying to get them. While the levels are frustrating with its constant speed blocking, the boss battles against Eggman are easy as hell. I never had a problem with them. Even the last boss was no trouble. I just stayed in the middle until I could hit him. For being the first of its kind, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is a fine game, just wish it delivered on what it advertised. That changed 1 year later. You want blast processing, well Sega said here's a blast up the ass. I would always hear that Sonic 2 was the Sonic game to play, with it being regarded as not just one of the best Sonic games, but one of the best Genesis games of all time. And usually I would play the first level and move on whenever I would touch it. This is the first time I actually played it to completion. Yes, I got all the Chaos Emeralds and beat the game, and yeah, it was a fun time. This game introduces everyone's favorite simp, Tails, as well as Sonic's spin dash move, which just makes the game that much more unique to other platformers and so much nicer to get over hills and loops. Like I said before in Sonic 1, when I played through the levels they were built more like average platformer stages, not really taking advantage of Sonic's speed. This game I felt had a nice balance of the long stretches that let you run and feel fast, and the slower platformer bits. Even the special stages are an improvement. It's more memorization and trial and error, and I felt more in control of these most of the time, so they weren't as much of a hassle. They also give you more opportunity to retry them, as now you collect 50 rings and make it to a checkpoint in a stage, instead of the end of one, and you will usually find 2 or 3 of them at a time. This made retrying them feel less frustrating and made me want to explore and collect rings so I can try them again. And when you get them all, you can transform into Super Sonic, he kinda sucks. While the invincibility is great, the extra speed and jump height can be detrimental when trying to do some tricky platforming. There would be times when I didn't want to be Supersonic, but when you get 50 rings and then just jump, you transform, which in some stages is really blue. That didn't take away this reward for beating the special stages though, way better than just a few more seconds in a cutscene. Also, the music is pretty kick-ass. I can see why this game is so popular. It's definitely a must-play for the Sega Genesis and for Sonic fans. I'm glad I spent my time playing it, and hopefully it can only go up from here. Also, fuck Tails. He would get hit and lose rings, making me lose out on a chance to get a Chaos Emerald all the time. Fuck him and his Game Gear games. Next is Sonic CD, known as not only one of the best Sonic games, but one of the best platformers of all time. Wait a second. I was a lame-o, so I never had a Sega CD. I was waiting for Nintendo to make one. I also wasn't born yet. So the first time I played this, probably like a lot of other people my age, was on the Sonic Mega Gems collection, which thankfully has some games I need to play for this video. Sonic CD has so many things that add replayability, like being able to travel to different periods of time. Each stage has a past, future, and present state that you can travel to by passing signs and maintaining a top speed until you're transported. Each time period has not only a different look, but a slightly different layout and music as well. So if I did my math right, that's over 30 different levels technically. This is also probably one of my favorite soundtracks in a Sonic game so far. Just go listen to the theme song Sonic Boom along with its cartoon intro. I watched this shit all the time as a kid. The gameplay is improved too. I don't know what it is exactly. Sonic controls just feel tighter. If I fucked up a jump, it felt like my fault most of the time. The variety of enemies is great too. Some have you tackle them in different ways than just jumping. I love this enemy that grabs you if you spin dash. That's awesome, makes you think twice before doing it and change up your strategy. The level design is the best so far, with enough moments to let you go fast mixed with some tricky platforming sections. Even the boss battles were still kinda easy, but creative, so it didn't matter. Like this one where you have to keep running to dissolve Eggman's machine instead of just hitting him a couple times. However, some bosses sucked, like the second boss, bouncing around this pinball machine was torture. Felt like I had no control, it was all random. If you can't tell from Sonic 1 in this game, the casino stages in Sonic games are my least favorite. It's all random, barely controllable bullshit. Fuck the casino stages, that's gonna apply to every one of them for the rest of this video. The Metal Sonic race, while cool, I found underwhelming. I did die a couple times, but it's mostly just jumping over spikes. Not as cool as I wanted it to be for being such an iconic fight. Special stages are not my favorite either. Because it's the Sega CD, they tried doing 3D sorta, and you gotta destroy these UFOs to get time stones, yeah, no Chaos Emeralds. The problem is the depth perception. I can never judge when I need to jump, the one time I wanted to slow down. Despite some flaws, Sonic CD is a very fun and well-made Sonic game that in my opinion deserves all the praise it gets. I didn't 100% it like Sonic 2 because I have 50 other games to play, but in my own time I definitely will come back to it. Next is Sonic Chaos, a lesser known Sonic game, and I'm not focusing on the stories for these games because they're all basically Fat Egg Boy bad, Mr. Go Fast good, but I want to mention this one because it involves Eggman using the Chaos Emeralds to make fucking nukes. He went from turning animals into robots to attempting to start the next nuclear war. That's some escalation. Other than that, for an 8-bit Sonic game, it's not terrible. I do have issues with it, like some areas will slow down hard because the Game Gear is not very powerful, I guess. Also, the game is really short, only took me 30 minutes, and I died a lot and used some continues. I know Sonic's about speed, but 30 minutes, that's no good. The bosses were the easiest so far, all you do is bounce off of them once and you can just keep doing it until you kill them. If you want some 8-bit Sonic action, what's wrong with you? Stick with Genesis. Next is Sonic Spinball. Sure is pinball, with Sonic in it. I've already explained my hatred for the casino stages, so a whole game like those, yeah, I'll pass. Here's Sonic 3, known as one of the greatest platformers and games in general on the Genesis. Remember in Sonic 1 how it had those moments to just take away your fun speed moments? Well, this game decided that was too nice and cranked up the fuck you. Playing this was frustrating. Every time I tried to just go right, there was a wall or a spring or an enemy in my path. I hate this shit. If the game is about me going fast and don't put shit in my way, at least not all the time, it's like playing a racing game, but instead of a nice clear track for you, there are walls every 5 seconds that you have to stop and maneuver around. Does that sound fun? I found myself hesitant to press the right button or collect items because I was afraid I might die or something. This design works fine in a regular platformer, but this is Sonic. I don't want to have to stop all the time. Look here, I found an invincibility power-up. I'll take that. Oh, you son of a bitch. What was the point of that? To piss me off? Because it worked. Now, is the game bad? No, obviously. The animation and graphics are way better, the music is that Genesis style of 16-bit funk only it can produce. The levels, while frustrating to play, sometimes are designed really well, like how Act 2 of the first level takes you right into a bonus stage to show you they're different and need to be found, unlike past games where they require a ring count. Also, each level is connected in a way. After clearing the first act, you go right into Act 2, as well as when you finish an act, a cutscene plays that brings you into the next zone. The bonus stages are fun too. Like Sonic 2, it felt like my fault when I failed, and collecting a Chaos Emerald felt very satisfying when you succeed. Power-ups actually do stuff too. By pressing the jump button again, you can do things like a bounce or pretend to be Fireball Kirby. Also, this game introduces Red Sonic. While I think this game does everything technically better, its frustrating retro gaming bullshit made it a chore to play for me. Can't wait to play more with SonicKnuckles DLC before DLC. This game was originally planned to be released with Sonic 3, which explains a lot since it plays and looks exactly like Sonic 3, because it's Sonic 3, just with new stages. Also, like Sonic 3, I have all the same complaints and compliments, so not much I can add for this one. I did realize after going through the bullshit that is Flying Battery Zone, a frustrating stage where you have to constantly take your time. In a Sonic game, the next zone, Sandopolis, made me realize that the game can be fun when it's fair. I just spent as much time in this one as Flying Battery, but in that one it took so long because I was moving like a snail. This stage I kept my momentum, and whenever it did slow down for platforming or the stage gimmick, it felt natural and paced well. I wish every stage was like this, but no. You can also play as Red Sonic. I did not. If you want more Red Sonic, try Sonic Triple Trouble. This is another Game Gear game, and it's got some jank. First thing is the physics. Sonic's momentum keeps going for a bit when you try to stop, which made him feel slippery to me and made me run into a lot of enemies and hazards. Also, pretty sure the hitboxes for enemies were a little too large. Oh, come on, how did I kill the enemy but I also died? What? Maybe I can finally go fast with Sonic Drift, Sonic's first racing game. With the popularity of Super Mario Kart, of course Sega would throw their mascot into the ring with Sonic Drift. Sega had so much confidence in this game that it was released on the Game Gear in 1994, 2 years after Mario Kart. And it was not released outside of Japan because, I shit you not, the Sega of America CEO at the time had concerns regarding its quality, which is fancy business talk for this game blows. Tracks are all flat, boring plains of nothing, and the actual drifting sucks. I keep running into the sides of the track. When you do get ahead though, it's easy because the CPU never seems to catch up. I'm glad we Americans never got to experience this. Let's finish the last couple Game Gear games. Sonic Labyrinth is a game where Sonic walks in a labyrinth. Sonic walks! Well, you can spin dash to go faster, but then you just bounce around all over the place. Even the camera can't keep up. You can't look at the game for too long either, because once you get a power up, the game tries to give you a seizure. What's with this game? It's either trying to make you throw up or kill you. Enough of that, let's try Sonic Drift 2. Did they improve what was once broken? Kinda. This game is somehow better and worse at the same time. I'm not going to bother explaining how or why, because you don't really care, I don't really care, let's not care together. Here's the last Game Gear game, Sonic Blah. Wow, you can tell this is when 3D was the new big thing. For Game Gear, I'll give it credit, it's kind of impressive they were able to do this. Too bad the game sucks. Sonic moves the slowest so far, besides Sonic Labyrinth. Even the momentum and physics are off. How did I stay on the roof for so long there? Oh, I died. Great, guess that means I can stop playing. Want some more blast? How about blasting your ass in 3D with Sonic 3D Blast? Flickies are mysterious birds. They live in another dimension and can travel anywhere through large rings. Robotnik learns about the Flickies. Guess he has Netflix on Mobius. Sonic visits Flicky Island to see his friends, but the only thing he finds are dildos and anal beads.
Robotnik made my friends like this. Better shove them up my ass to save them.
This is the first 3D Sonic game, if you don't count Sonic Labyrinth or Sonic Jam. Sonic 3D Blast follows a direction I think is good for the first official 3D Sonic game. Like Sonic Labyrinth, you control Sonic on an isometric grid, but he actually runs in this one. I actually like how the levels aren't just to get to the end and encourage you to explore the levels to defeat the enemies. I think that works better in a 3D environment, and not Sonic Labyrinth. One main problem about the isometric grid is the isometric grid. Using a D-pad on it when you have to perform pixel-perfect jumps is terrible, especially when trying to kill enemies or collect the Flickies. Also, when you get hit, you lose the Flickies, like your rings, and have to collect them. But even if the Flickies get hit, they scatter and you have to collect them again, forcing you to get hit by the thing you already dodged. Despite all that, once you get used to it, I don't think the game is that bad. The first 3D game made on consoles that don't really do 3D anyway. Well, he's done platformers, puzzle games, racing games, whatever the fuck Sonic Schoolhouse was, why not try fighting games? This is Sonic the Fighters. Not gonna lie, it was pretty fun. The arcade is pretty easy, you just spam punch, they can't do shit. But look at these juggle combos, fuck you Tekken, Kazooie's a Shoto, Sonic's a Shoto. It's hard for me to describe the controls for fighting games, just know it's bad, but it's that fun kind of bad, that you can just get some friends together, get some pizza, some beers, and just smash buttons and have fun. Of course I don't have any friends, so I just sat alone and played this in my room. In the dark. Crying. After a Sonic racing game and karts didn't work, they made one where the characters actually run. What a concept. Well, except Amy and Eggman. One thing held it back though, the actual game. It's bad. I can't figure out how to turn for the life of me, and it feels so slippery, like you're constantly on ice physics, especially when you run into a wall and get stuck. And only 5 tracks? It's kind of abysmal for a racing game. I think the Drift games had more. The only saving grace of this game is the soundtrack. This OST is the best OST in any video game ever. If you don't like the soundtrack, then sorry to be the one to inform you, you have terrible taste in music. The only reason to play this game is to jam out to the music that it does not deserve. If you're deaf, skip it. So finally we're here at the generation of Sonic games I played as a kid. Or not at this exact time, in 1998 I was 1. I first played Sonic Adventure on GameCube with Sonic Adventure DX. This is the first time I'll be playing the Dreamcast version. This is the first official 3D Sonic game with polygons and all. It also changes a lot, including some character designs, how Sonic is now stupidly on Earth for some reason, and Eggman got rid of his slave name of Robotnik. Also, these games are going to have stories now. Yes, they still are bad egg, good furries, but more happens in them. The story is that Eggman has found an ancient evil creature named Chaos, who, when given all 7 Chaos Emeralds, transforms into a destructive godlike being. So it's a little different. In past games, you can choose multiple characters to beat the game with. Here there are 6 and you have to beat each of their individual stories in order to fight the final boss and beat the game. Let's start with the guy we're all here for. His story is simple and straightforward. Collect the emeralds, beat Eggman. Why mess with perfection? The adventure isn't just a name. Instead of going level to level, in between each stage you're thrown into interconnected hub worlds that you have to navigate to progress. Even though I've played this game multiple times, it's been a while, so I did find myself lost at certain points. Like any good adventure game though, if you talk to people or use one of these hint orb things, you'll be pointed in the right direction. The levels themselves are pretty fun too. I don't think Sonic's gameplay transferred perfectly to 3D, but for the first official outing it's not bad. Going fast feels so damn good, and there are plenty of opportunities to do so. Parts where you have to wait or do some slower platforming weren't too frustrating most of the time. The one thing that bothers me was controlling Sonic himself. When he has momentum it's fine, but when he's standing still or barely moving, he feels very stiff and heavy, which made some jumps worse than they should have been. There is still that bullshit enemy and hazard placement, and the casino stage still sucks. Despite that, this was a smoother transition to 3D than expected. Hopefully they can improve on this in the future. I might as well talk about these non-Sonic characters in these games where you have to play them to beat the game. Tails' story is the same as Sonic's, but focuses on him trying to show he's not just Sonic's bottom and come into his own. His levels are the same as Sonic's, they just start you about halfway through them and you're racing someone to the end goal. Knuckles' levels are different, they're not just about getting to the end, his are about collecting pieces of the Master Emerald after it was shattered by Chaos. Basically a game of hot and cold. As you get closer to a piece, the detector changes color and beeps faster. Some of them are out in the open, inside enemies, and sometimes you have to do some real exploring to find the trickier ones. Pretty fun for me personally, which is weird. I remember them being way more frustrating. Amy's kinda there, with a bird. Her stages are about escaping this robot that chases you through the stages, kinda like Resident Evil, but terrible. He's super easy to avoid, you can just smack him away. Here's me trying to get him to capture me so I can just have footage of it, and even when I hand myself to him, he can't do it. Next is everyone's favorite character, Big the Cat. His levels aren't that bad. Sure, the first time it was frustrating, but once you know what you're doing, it's easy as hell. This is my footage for my second time doing it, and see how fast I caught that froggy bastard? Easy, y'all just suck at video games. The worst part of Big's levels are the actual level part. You actually have to platform with this guy and wander around like an asshole trying to find the right pond that Froggy is in. It takes what could have been a fun little fishing minigame into a game of look like an idiot. Last character is Gamma, a robot built by Eggman who develops emotions and realizes him and the other robots built were made for evil. So he decides to save them. And by save, I mean murdering the shit out of them. While his story is the best one in the game, his gameplay I found to be the worst. You have this auto-targeting system. When you hold the button, you lock onto everything in sight, you let it go, and boom, everything is dead in one hit. This means the only threat are the few stage hazards, which are not difficult to avoid. His levels aren't that high on platforming, so nothing can really touch you. Even the bosses are pushovers. His levels are shorter too, they barely last a minute. The short levels and auto-targeting make his stages so easy that they were forgettable. If it weren't for the story, I don't think I even would have remembered Gamma. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention there's some shit about the ancient past, ancient Echidna tribe, whatever, they never show up again. Next is Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket Adventure for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. What's a Neo Geo Pocket Color? It was a handheld system created to be a companion to the Neo Geo. Neither did well in the West, but that's a story for another day. For today, let's talk about the Sonic game made for it. And holy shit, it's good. Like, really good. This might be my favorite handheld Sonic game so far. I guess that's not much of an accomplishment though. Graphically the game looks really good, the frame rate never dropped once, and Sonic's animations are really well done. It also controls very well, which I was surprised by since it's the old school D-pad and 2-button combo. The platforming never felt unfair. When I fucked up, it felt like I fucked up, which is the best compliment I can give game controls. The levels aren't expertly designed or anything, but they felt fun, fair, but still challenging. This game actually made me realize my perfect 2D Sonic game, when the slower platforming parts last only a few seconds. When playing other games, I remember the go fast parts the most because they were fun, but I realized that most of my time in those levels was platforming. Here you do a couple of jumps, then you go fast, easy. And yes, I realize me saying the platforming parts are the worst parts of these platforming games should make them all bad, but if you haven't noticed, that's not why I like Sonic games specifically. Sonic games have this momentum-based gameplay that I attribute more to racing games. The only reason I didn't complete this game is because I have 30 more to get through, but I'm definitely coming back to complete this later. One I'm not coming back to is Sonic Shuffle. I guess the only thing Sonic hasn't done yet is a party game. You know, the kind of party where you know only one person, but they are talking to other people, so you just stand in the corner silently like a weirdo, making other people uncomfortable, which makes you uncomfortable and want to leave immediately. It's that kind of party. First there is a story, but I couldn't tell you what it was about. It involves these evil being named Void, who destroys, steals, this not Chaos Emeralds, called Precious Stones. And to get them back, you have to play a shitty board game. I don't have much to say about this one, it's just bad. One thing I thought would be neat was instead of rolling traditional dice, they have this card system. You move the amount of spaces on the card, but if you want, you can pick an opponent's card at random to fuck up their chances of going the exact number of spaces they needed. Other than that, honestly, I played this game for like 10 minutes, thought, that's enough footage for this segment, and haven't touched it since. I'd rather play Crash Boom Bang. Wait, I should take that back, I don't mean that. Next is the sequel to Sonic Adventure, and what is sometimes considered to be the last good 3D Sonic game, Sonic Adventure 2. The story is that Eggman has found another ultimate life form. The ultimate life form. Shadow, the Maria-loving Hedgehog. He tells Eggman that if he brings him all 7 Chaos Emeralds, they can power a big space laser and hold the world hostage or something. Gonna be honest, I wasn't paying that much attention. Shadow's Chaos Emerald stealing makes everyone think Sonic is doing it because even in Sonic universe, everyone is racist. So Sonic needs to stop Doc Egg and clear his name. The story is definitely not as good or cohesive as the first one. Sonic Adventure wasn't a masterpiece of storytelling or anything, but everything made sense and was mostly explained. Here you get a cutscene of the characters saying the most minimal dialogue they can just to get the plot moving. Which would be fine, right? Gets to the gameplay faster. Too bad the game isn't as good as I remember. There are 6 playable characters like SA1, but really only 3 kinds of stages. The best ones are Sonic and Shadows, obviously. It's the high flying speed you need. The cityscape level just gives off such 2000s energy, I can't help but love it. Control wise, he's floatier than the last game, which is weird because that would help with platforming, but there's very little compared to other titles. Tails and Eggman stages are basically gammas from SA1, so I hate them. It's the same as before, you lock onto everything and just run through the level. And then the worst part of the game, Knuckles and Rouge's stages. So remember in SA1 where you could just fly around and find the emeralds no problem with the detector? Well here they fucked up. Now only the one associated with whichever piece you're on starts glowing, so you have to run around the level, probably passing the others without realizing it trying to find it. I feel like they made the range shorter too, like to even get the faintest blip you need to be right on its ass. The hints are worse too. Instead of the glowing orb that pointed you in the right direction, you have these computers that give you the most cryptic hints like, what does this mean? How does that help me? So these levels are basically just wandering around like an asshole hoping you'll find what you're looking for, and it could take forever. Want to know how not fun this is? Here's footage of me going to the level Aquatic Mine, and you can't see me, but in this moment all the frustrating childhood memories came flooding back to me, and I immediately quit as to not subject myself to such torture again. At least the music for the stages I didn't like were good. Yeah, Sonic's butt rock is great, and Knuckles is black because he listens to rap, but I found myself really digging Tails' music and Rouge's stages, which I definitely didn't appreciate as a kid. Sadly though, Sonic Adventure 2 isn't as good as I remembered. I only enjoyed roughly 1/3 of the game, which is not a great score. When I wasn't at home playing Sonic, I was still playing Sonic with the Sonic Advance trilogy. Might as well talk about all these games together. First is Sonic Advance 1. Gonna be honest, not impressed. It's a good game, but as far as 2D Sonic platformers go, I'd say it's pretty standard. The unique thing about it is the multiple player characters and a shitty camera. Sonic Advance 2 though, oh baby. After playing it again, it's still one of my favorite Sonic games, even one of my favorite Game Boy games. I don't think it's the best in any of those categories, but it's my favorite, and that's what matters. The multiple characters are back with even a new character, Cream the Rabbit, but none of them are Sonic, so who cares? First thing this game does is the presentation. Each level starts off at a starting line with a countdown to really get the game going. Way better than other games that just start off with Sonic standing still. Then while you're playing the game, it happens. Boost mode, I think is what it's called. When you reach maximum speed, you get all these after images that show you've reached the peak. Just this visual indication adds so much to the enjoyment of the momentum and movement. You don't want to stop, you want to keep it going, because once it stops, it's back to lame mode. Levels are designed in a way to help that momentum too. This is one of the few Sonic games I've played so far with little to no bullshit hazards or enemies to slow you down. Even the bosses have you running alongside Eggman while fighting him, which admittedly makes them more frustrating than they should be, but the point is, speed is the central driving force here that makes the game fun. I completed this game multiple times, and after just playing it enough to get footage for this video, I'm definitely going to do it again. This is what I usually compare all Sonic games to, especially the 2D ones. It's fast-paced and non-stop action with its awesome music. I'd play this son of a bitch any day. Sonic Advance 3 I don't hold in such high regard. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good game, but it has some things that don't make it as good as the second one for me. First is it doesn't just go level to level anymore. You're thrown into this hub world you have to navigate to get to the next level. Gonna be honest, I hate hub worlds in 2D games. Unlike 3D games where exploring feels fun and sometimes rewarding, here it's just a pain in the ass because there's only 4 directions you can go, so a lot of these 2D hub worlds just have a habit of putting the secrets high or low. I just want to play the next stage. Also, the levels seem to have more emphasis on exploration and that verticality. This is partly due to the hidden chows in each stage, and sure, when you're looking for them, they're fine, but when you're just playing the level, it's a constant back and forth that doesn't feel fun, really. The game's big thing is its partner mechanic. You can choose 2 characters to play as, and each pair has a special action you can use in the stages. This is the most fun part, but also feels kinda meaningless, again, because you'll either get a team that lets you just cheese the stage, or aim your knuckles. It's still a good game, I even fully completed this one too, but I think it falls flat for me just because Sonic 2 is almost perfect to me. No matter what they did, I probably wouldn't have been satisfied. Honestly, if you can get your hands on any of these games, then check them out, you won't be disappointed. Well, you had Sonic on the go, how about Sonic Spinball on the go? Oh, never mind, it's just regular pinball now, lame. Instead of just describing this game to you, I'm gonna read you my notes that I took because I think they're way funnier than anything I can come up with. Wait, there's a story? Oh my god, what is happening? The screen is shaking so much it's making me nauseous. I can't even tell what is happening with all this shit on the screen. Fuck this. Oh hey Knights. Sonic Battle is one of those games I remember fondly, but playing it now I realize I was an easily entertained kid. This is another fighting game on the Game Boy Advance. Someone actually thought that was a good idea. The story is Eggman finds, I think, this robot emerald who can basically copy the moves of anyone and gets more powerful every time he gets a Chaos Emerald. So it's Chaos mixed with Cell from DBZ. The story is basically each character interacting with Emerald as it learns about friendship and crap. This is another game I played to completion as a kid, and I wonder how, because I only played for a couple hours and couldn't take any more. The main reason is combos don't feel satisfying. You're just mashing one button a bunch, which is not fun. It's kinda why every fighting game has multiple attack buttons, and aren't on the Game Boy Advance. Plus the battles in story mode felt so tedious. You do one battle that goes to like 5 KOs, then right after you do the same battle with double the amount of KOs you have to do. That's so annoying, and it just drags the game out. Yeah, the story is good, and this is one of the best portrayals of the Sonic characters at the time, but the actual game is a tedious button basher. Maybe it's fun if you play against friends, but I just ranted about Sonic Battle, so obviously I don't have any. A game I weirdly like, though, is Sonic Heroes, which I don't understand why, because it's not good. First of all, the levels suck. They take away too long to complete. They should have been cut in half, or at least by a third or something. Want to know the worst part too? While playing this, my game crashed right when I was at the end of the first level, so I had to play it all over again. I was so happy. The controls feel too loose. I often feel like I'm going to just run off the edge of the stage if I'm not too careful, which for some levels is a nightmare. Even the controls on the special stages don't respond well. Move the joystick slightly in one direction and the characters just go flying, or they get stuck on something. And the music isn't the best, in my opinion. Not bad, there are definitely some tracks I like, but not exactly top tier Sonic OSTs for me. If I don't like all of that, why do I still want to complete this game later? I don't know, I'm disturbed. Oh yeah, there are these other characters you have to play too. You may notice there's no footage of them. Sonic Rush on the DS. Hideki God of Funky Fresh Beats Naganuma, who's probably most well known for composing the soundtrack for Jet Set Radio, also did this game. And like Jet Set Radio, this music is fucking hype. I thought rock while speeding through levels was fun. But nah, you need some electric, hip-hop, city, funk. I know a lot about music. The actual game is pretty fun too. It takes a while to get used to the controls, but once you get the hang of the tricks and boosting, it's pretty fun. Yeah, they added a button that allows you to boost. It's one of the best features they could have added in a Sonic game. Sure, you can spin dash like usual, but it feels so much more satisfying hitting one button and whoosh! This game also introduces Blaze the Cat, one of the most underused and underrated Sonic characters in my opinion. Unfortunately, the game ain't perfect. For one, Blaze's and Sonic levels are pretty much the same, I think. There's not really any difference. So basically you need to play through the game twice, dealing with the same stages that frustrated you and the same shit bosses, which are the worst part of this game. How do you fight a boss in Sonic Rush? Ironically, you wait. You just dodge attacks until Eggman becomes vulnerable and then hit him. And some of these take forever. I know 4 minutes isn't that long, but trust me, it feels like an eternity. Sonic Rush, while flawed, I think is a fun as hell Sonic game, and if you've not played it, you definitely should. Or at least this isn't the soundtrack, you owe yourself that much. Well, they tried carts, and it didn't work. They tried feet, it didn't work. So what's the next logical step? Hoverboards. Anyway, is this game better than the other Sonic racing games? Yes, because, yeah, I should probably explain the bird people. It's because the controls are way better than those other racing games. Basically, you're always moving forward. You mostly have to focus on turning and navigating. There are 3 types of characters to get different shortcut options. Speed types can grind on rails, flyers fly through speed boosters, and power can punch away stage hazards. Having different types of characters is fine, but I personally went with flyer power. Speed is annoying because if you're not accurate with your rail grinding, you're fucked. Fly, you just go off a ramp, and power, you just keep moving forward. I like they tried to go for variety in characters, but shortcuts are so obvious, it makes choosing a character type feel useless because everyone gets an equal amount of them and you know exactly where to go. There's no strategy to it. Any change in your actual controls, like turning and speed, come from what board you choose, most of which are bought at the shop for rings you earn during races or repeating the story. There's this turbulence mechanic where you ride on the slipstream thing to catch up to whoever's in front of you. Good concept on paper, except I couldn't seem to find a way to get off of it. Sometimes I don't want to be on it because I'm trying to take a shortcut and I can't figure out how to get off. Sometimes while struggling to get off of it, I fall off the stage too. Also, the controls themselves take some getting used to. This isn't really the kind of racing game like Mario Kart where anyone can pick up and play it and still do kind of well. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to do well. Despite its flaws, I like Sonic Riders. I do think it's a fun racing game, and I wish I had more time to play this game more so I can unlock everything like I did when I was a kid. But I can't right now, got other Sonics to play. From one racing game to another, made for the PSP, it's Sonic Rivals. This game blows. The story is Eggman gets the powers of an Organization 13 member and wants to become the Duel Monsters champion. The common criticism with Sonic games is you hold right and occasionally press the jump button. Well, that's all you do in this game. You hold the right jump sometimes, you do a quick time event, Sonic Rivals. You win by just hitting the quick time events and going to the higher routes. That's how you win at Sonic Rivals, be good at quick time events. Wait, but who's this mysterious white hedgehog? I've never seen him before. What's he from? Are you buying my acting for this transition? Alright, here it is, the game I bet a lot of people were waiting for, made for Sonic's 15th anniversary and the first Sonic game on the 7th generation of consoles, Sonic the Hedgehog, referred to as Sonic 06 by fans to distinguish it from the original. It is considered to be the worst Sonic game of all time, and one of the worst video games of all time. The graphics I don't think aren't terrible, but they are not the best you can see on an Xbox. I think it's mainly the character models, the way they don't emote makes them feel like someone put a Sonic mod over a Final Fantasy game, but that's insulting to the modding community. The controls suck. Sonic feels the most sluggish ever and barely gains any momentum. He feels so slow, playing levels isn't fun because I'm not going fast. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 felt way better. Speaking of those, maybe because it's another anniversary, this game is similar to Sonic Adventure, that you have a hub world you travel through to get to each stage. Except in Sonic Adventure, that was fun to explore the different locations and discover secrets. Here it's a pain in the ass. Basically, every level is locked behind some shitty side quests like going through rings or fighting enemies or playing Among Us. And behind every one of those missions is a loading screen. The levels themselves feel bare bones, like it's a straight line with some enemies in the way, that's it. No memorable segments or moments, just mediocrity. The story revolves around Sonic trying to save this princess named Elise from Eggman who needs her power to revive Solaris, an ancient evil. And yeah, one of the infamous things about this game is Elise and Sonic's weird erotic relationship. And yeah, it's hilarious. Sorry to say I can't say much besides this game sucks because it doesn't really anger me or anything. I just find the game mostly boring. I wasn't having any fun playing it and was just waiting until I figured I had enough footage so I could stop playing. I do agree that this game is one of the worst games of all time, but it's not the worst Sonic game. You want to know what is? Sonic and the fucking secret rings. Sonic 06 I feel apathetic toward, but this game, I hate it. It's the worst Sonic game and one of my least favorite games of all time. So much so that I beat it like 3 times. I'm a complicated man, okay? However, since I know this game well and didn't want to play it, I'll be using footage from FC playthroughs who, fun fact, like everyone else who played this game, shortly died afterwards. They will be missed. So this is an on-rails Sonic game. Basically, Sonic is always moving forward and you move him side to side by tilting the Wii Remote. Yeah, it's got forced motion controls too. That's not the worst part of the game though. You'd think I'd like the fact you're always moving forward since I've been constantly bitching about momentum and speed in these games. But the lack of control just makes it feel like the entire game is an auto-scrolling level. The levels themselves aren't that memorable to me either, because I can't look at anything since I'm constantly on the move. The main thing for me is how you have to constantly play the same levels over and over again. Not all the way through, but by doing different objectives like defeat enemies or don't break the pots. Thrilling. And fuck that dinosaur egg mission. No, I'm not going to elaborate on it. It can go fuck itself. The music in the game would be fine, but since you play the same levels over and over, you hear the same music over and over. At least I could say the other Sonic games didn't make me want to gouge out my ears with the constant bombardment of the same repetitive melodies. You won't mind it at first, but after the 10th time you are told to let the speed mend it, you'll wish you never heard it. Especially every time you go back to the main menu or complete a stage, you hear the menu theme 7 rings in hand over and over again. I'd talk about the story, but there's no need because it sucks. It just involves Sonic going into the world of Arabian Nights with all his friends and enemies as the characters in them as he helps this genie, the Shantae or whatever her name was. That's because this is part of the Sonic Storybook series, or duology, but we'll talk about that later. The only saving grace of this game is the ending, which is one of the most hilarious things I've seen since Sonic 06.
Shara, will you grant me one more wish? I wish for a mountain of handkerchiefs. Now, just let yourself cry, as much as you need to. You'll have plenty of handkerchiefs to help you through it.
Let's move on from a terrible game to an okay game, Sonic Rush Adventure, the sequel to Sonic Rush. Gameplay-wise, it's Sonic Rush. Nothing new was really added. The only difference is they put more emphasis on the trick system, a mechanic I don't think I went too in-depth on before. You can do different tricks by tapping the B button in the air, which adds to your boost meter and overall score, which becomes important later. To get to different zones, you do these touchscreen minigames to travel between islands. They're not too bad, but I find them to be unnecessary. They're not really fun, and you don't really get anything out of them, except these races against this rejected Digimon to get Chaos Emeralds. After you go to an island, you can even just select one from the main menu, so you don't even have to do those minigames again. Why can't you just do that in the first place? And why is every Sonic game these days hellbent on making you play the same levels over again? Basically, you have to get a certain amount of materials to build these devices that you use in the minigames. And how do you get materials? By getting a high score on a level, so if you need a lot of one material, you gotta play the same zone you just beat. Seems like artificial lengthening to me. Again, why can't I just go level to level? Why the roadblocks? The bosses aren't as bad as Sonic Rush, but it's still a lot of waiting. The best parts of the game, I think, are, well, it's still Sonic Rush, so the gameplay is still awesome. The music's not done by Hideki Gata Funky Fresh Beats Naganuma, but it's still some catchy island beats that fit the tone of the adventure. The story of the game is fun too. It involves Sonic and Tails being transported to Blaze's universe, and they have to stop this not Eggman pirate to use the MacGuffin to do bad stuff. There is a new character, Marine, who at first kind of got on my nerves, but the dialogue between the group of 4 when they got together, I did find to be entertaining. Sonic Rush Adventure, for me, is a mixed bag. It's got some good stuff in it, but for every one of those, there's a thing I don't like. Personally, I prefer the first one, but it's a fine sequel. Next is Sonic Rivals 2. It's Sonic Rivals again. That's all I have to say. Sonic's next attempt on next-gen consoles is Sonic Unleashed, and damn, it feels really good running fast in this game. With the combination of the boost and the ability to fucking drift, it's the best controlling 3D Sonic game so far in my opinion. The feeling of speed is accompanied by this game's awesome soundtrack, with a theme song done by those guys who did the Phineas and Ferb theme. The only thing that took some getting used to was the fact that the homing attack was mapped to pressing the X button after jumping, instead of the traditional just tapping the jump button twice. I was surprised that this game felt so good, and was really fun, since a lot of people seem to not like it. I was like, what am I missing here? This game's awesome. Then I looked back at my footage and realized 80% of it was werehog stages. Yes, the new thing in this game is Sonic, for some reason, transforms into a werehog, and his gameplay goes from Initial D to DMC. Now let me say this, as a fan of Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, I'm not the hugest fan of hack-and-slash action games. But if done right, they obviously can be really fun. This is not fun. I found myself putting all my experience points, yeah, you get experience points like an RPG, in my strength because that would get me through the levels faster. Because these stages go on forever. Combos don't feel satisfying. I just found myself spamming the attack buttons over and over because enemy types weren't varied enough to get me to change it up. Most of them are either Eggman's robots or these rejected Heartless from Kingdom Hearts. Why in the name of Yevon did Sonic Team think putting a slow hack and slasher in a Sonic game would be a good idea? I don't know, because every time I play a regular Sonic stage, I'm having a blast. It's fun. I even did this time trial side mission in a stage I just played because I didn't want to do another werehog level. If they made them shorter, I don't think they would be that bad, but the fact that they last an average of 5 to 6 times the length of a daytime stage is ridiculous. Also, this game dropped frames and lagged a lot for me, which I would expect on other consoles like PS2 and Wii, but this is the Xbox 360 version. I don't really know if it's my Xbox, it is my brother's from like 15 years ago, but Sonic 06 ran fine, so I don't know. Point is, this game is more frustrating than anything, because there's an awesome Sonic game here. Too bad it's accompanied by a shitty God of War game. But let's forget about running and get back to some skating in Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. More like Zero Gratification. There is a story. Alright, that's the story segment. The problem with this game is it's boring and really easy. Unlike the first Sonic Riders where the shortcuts did require some degree of accuracy, the ones here are simplified and automatic. Even the trick system got nerfed. In the last game, you would have to charge your jump, time it, and then judge how many tricks you can do to get enough air for boosts and drifting. Here you just press a button at the right time, way less satisfying when you figure out the timing. They also got rid of drifting, in a racing game. Instead you have these two new mechanics, Gravity Drift, which holds you in the air so you can do sharp turns, which looks cool sometimes, and Gravity Dive, which is basically a super boost. The problem is, like the shortcuts, there are very specific sections built in for these mechanics. You're not using them on your own to shave off time on the course, you just wait for the prompts to show up, and then do it. It's so easy that just after a few times of doing it, I got so good at following prompts that I would get so far ahead of the computer I would just ride my board on first place. Nothing was in my way, no items or maneuvers they could use to catch up, everything's fine and dandy in Zero Gravity. Next is my most disappointing game, Sonic Chronicles The Dark Brotherhood, a Sonic RPG. I love RPGs. They're my favorite game genre. And finally, one of my favorite video game characters was gonna have one. I thought this was gonna be the Sonic version of the Mario and Luigi games. I was hyped. And then I played it. I think that's all that needs to be said. Next up is Sonic and the Black Knight. Remember when I said there was a Sonic storybook series duology? This one takes place in the King Arthur mythos, with of course Sonic characters as those characters. Thankfully though, this game is way better than Sonic and the Secret Rings, but that's like saying that time I got stabbed was better than the time I got shanked. This game, while very similar, does some things better. While it's still on rails, it's easier to maneuver Sonic using the nunchuck instead of Wii Remote motion controls. The music is better, praise be to Yevon. The theme Night of the Wind is particularly good, mostly because of Crush 40. Unfortunately, that's all for the praises of this game, because the rest is not great. The level design is bland and boring, everything looks the same, no level is memorable at all. You'll be spending a lot of time in these planes though, because, again, you have to do little missions in them to pad out the runtime, like genocide, or flaunting your wealth to the peasants. They also feel really short too, I feel like I barely ran in them. Probably because most of the time, I'm just shaking the Wii Remote like a maniac to kill enemies. That's this game's mechanic, swinging the Wiimote to attack. But unlike, say, the Zelda games, Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, that have you use the direction you swing matter, so you at least have to think about it, here you just swing away, no strategy or anything. Just keep wiggling until nothing is left on the screen. This mechanic just slows down everything. I barely even use the homing attack. Why is it even in this game? It's useless. The only saving grace of this game is the cutscenes. They are silly train wrecks that just ooze Sonic cheese. He gets summoned to another dimension while eating chili dogs. That's fucking stupid. I love it. It's one of those so bad it's good stories to me. It was really the only thing keeping me going. Unfortunately, this game, like Secret Rings, is just more frustrating and tedious motion controls disguised as a Sonic game. Next is Sonic Freeriders. I'm kidding. I don't own a Kinect. Not buying one for Sonic Freeriders. Fuck it. What's actually next is Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Yeah, they pulled a Crash 4 before Crash 4. Ignoring everything else, this game is supposed to continue from Sonic and Knuckles all the way back on the Genesis. So let's play it and see how it holds up. Or I would, but every time I tried to launch the game on Steam it wouldn't work, so I had to spend a long time watching YouTube tutorials to fix it. Not a good start. Well, I finally got the game to work in a windowed mode. Not gonna press my luck trying to figure out how to do full screen. First off, the game looks like ass. I thought it was just my version because I had to mess with the files to get it to work, but no, this is apparently how it's supposed to look. The environments look fine, but what's with the weird shading on Sonic? Looks like a sprite from a different game. Other than that, this game isn't that bad. I don't think it harkens back to the Genesis games, mostly because the physics feel very different. Sonic even has his homing attack, but yeah, I think it's fine. Really my only complaints are, like I said before, the momentum and physics feel off. You really feel like you have to use a speed boost to get the speed going. It's not that satisfying, and it runs kind of slow, honestly. Also, the homing attack, while fun to have, in a 2D environment is kind of broken. Bosses are a complete joke with it. I think in comparison to the other Genesis games it kind of falls flat, but in comparison to the other games I've played recently, it's a good game. And thank God they made the special stages from Sonic 1 playable. I can actually control it and it feels fair. That gets a lot of points from me. Let's take a look at the sequel now, released 2 years later. Sonic 4 Episode 2. And praise be to Yevon, it worked the first time. Not much I have to say about this one, it's Sonic 4 but better. The physics and momentum still don't feel right. It's hard to explain. Sonic just feels stiff in comparison to the Genesis games it's trying to mimic. Like in those games it felt easy to get him going just by tapping the D-pad. Here I only feel like I can get a good burst of speed if I hit a speed boost. Tails also makes this game a joke. Just by tapping a button you can get him to fly Sonic around, so whenever I miss a jump, I just use him and it's like it never happened. While I still would put these games in the good pile of Sonic games, I assume that's a hot take. I would definitely say they failed in recapturing the feeling of the old Sonic games if that was their goal. Not bad, just not good enough. And that's no good. Next is a Sonic game I think everyone agrees is pretty awesome. Sonic Colors released for the Wii, but don't worry, it's not like those ones. At the time I played this, the game Sonic Colors Ultimate released a while ago. I didn't buy it. I'm inclined to agree that this is one of the best playing 3D Sonic games, but I have some gripes with it. First, the good stuff. I love the writing of this game. It's got cartoony cheese all over it. I felt like I was watching a Saturday morning cartoon. I was smiling the entire time with just how hammy it was. If I was a kid, I would be obsessed with these cutscenes. Music is awesome too. Every track fits the zone you're in as well as hypes you up for fast-paced action. Planet Wisp specifically is one of my favorite tracks from any Sonic game. Physics and control feel just right here to me. Probably the best it's ever felt in a 3D Sonic game. Now for my personal negatives. The worlds are too long. They each have 6 zones and a boss. About 1 or 2 of the zones are actual levels, while the rest are usually 1 minute-ish stages that usually revolve around some gimmick. They're not bad, but why not just have the traditional 2 zones and a boss? Why have we neglected that for so long? I would much rather have 2 very well designed acts than 6 okay ones. The wisps themselves are cool, but are very situational. Like I come to this spot here thinking I can get through, but I realize I need a certain wisp so I can't get through it right now. This made them feel like more of a gimmick rather than a mechanic to me. I consider those to be nitpicks though, because this game is really good. If you want peak 3D Sonic, consider picking this game up, or the remake, or don't. I really don't care. I've played 40 of these games so far, I'm very tired, this was a mistake. Next is the game made for Sonic's 20th anniversary, Sonic Generations, a celebration of Sonic games through the years, allowing you to play levels in the classic Sonic style and the modern design. You go through many classic Sonic stages like Chemical Plant Zone, City Escape, but no level for Sonic Shuffle, SMH, Shaking My Hedgehog. Classic stages play okay, they don't really play like the Genesis games, more like a modernized version of them. Kinda like Sonic 4, but the physics and speed flow more naturally. One thing I really like about it is mapping the spin dash to a specific button. How has no Sonic game before this done that? Making it one button instead of holding down at a button, it's just so good, I love it. The modern stages feel good too, in my opinion not as good as Sonic Colors. I can't really explain why, just playing them back to back, Colors felt lighter and easier to gain momentum. To me it feels like Sonic plays more like Sonic Unleashed here, which is fine, I like how that game plays too, but I prefer Colors. Other than that, not much was added to modern Sonic, he plays like he usually does. They do that thing again where you replay stages with mini challenges in order to progress. Thankfully they only make you do 1 out of like 6 for each stage, so it's a step in the right direction, but just get rid of them. Music is of course awesome, it's a mix of classic Sonic music in its original state and remixed. Some I love, others not so much. I also like how these collectible red rings unlike past games weren't just used to get 100%, collecting them here gets you extras like artwork and music. As a completionist, I love it when games do that stuff, it gives me extra motivation to complete games. Sonic Generations, while not perfect, is a great anniversary game, better than others, that offers great fan service and gameplay for Sonic fans. This also marks a point for me as this was the last Sonic game I bought when it was new, and from here on out, I have not touched the rest of the games we were looking at until today. Next is Sonic Lost World, originally released for the Wii U, but I'm playing it on Steam. This game is weird. While it was developed right after Sonic Colors and features the Wisps, it's a huge departure from the direction Sonic was going. Honestly, I didn't play this one for long, for one main reason. Sonic has a dash button. What? Sonic's default speed should always be dashing at full speed. Why is it a button? These levels weird me out too. It's supposed to be these cylinder type things, but I can't tell if I'm rotating the level like Monkey Ball, or if Sonic is defying gravity like Mario Galaxy or something. Because of the weird control scheme with this dash and the level design, I would fall off and die a lot, because this game goes against all my instincts as a Sonic player. Like I said, the wisps from Sonic Colors are here too, for no reason. They made them worse somehow too. In Colors, to get a wisp, you just walk into it, easy. Here you gotta stop so you can aim yourself to jump on it, or homing attack, but why? It just slows down what little momentum you had. That's the worst part of this game, it feels slow. A Mr. Go Fast game should not feel slow. The only good things I have to say about it is the music was fun and lively, I wish they were in fast levels. Also the game graphically looks really good, I personally prefer when Sonic is in these bright, colorful worlds. Other than that, I don't like this game. Bad Sonic game in my opinion. Hopefully the next one's better, fuck. Okay, here's another game infamous for being one of the worst games of all time, Sonic Boom. From what I know, this game was made to be a reboot to Sonic, but only here in the West, whatever, it's shit. Alright, well, I would talk about the actual game, but I think you all know what I'm gonna say, so I might as well not say anything. Everyone knows about all the bugs, glitches, and how unfinished this game really is. The two things that annoyed me specifically were the rings. They act as health, so not much reason to collect them. But for some reason, they're fucking everywhere. Why? I don't use them for anything, and they cap out at 100, so what's the point of having so many around? The other thing is the characters will not shut the fuck up. Every 2 steps they say something, every time you get rings they say something, every time you go up bounce pad they say something like shut up and let me play the game in peace. Other than that, just go watch your favorite Let's Player that obviously played this if you want more info on it. It sucks. At least we'll always have the Sonic Boom cartoon. I think now is a good time to talk about the mobile games. Yeah, I even played some mobile games. 2 of them are Endless Runners, which as the name suggests, the goal is to keep running through the course without getting hit. One is based off of OG Sonic, the other off Sonic Boom. I unfortunately don't have much to say about these. Endless Runners aren't my kind of mobile apps. I prefer ones where I can play card games or get anime waifus. I do like the Sonic Boom one better, if that means anything. The last one, despite being named after the game Sonic Forces, seems to have little to do with it. It's only different because this one is a racing game where you compete against other players. But I don't think anyone's playing it because I could only ever get matched with one person and some bots. I feel like a huge waste of time, honestly. I probably only played each of them for like 10 minutes. Okay, so these next 2 games I can't show you my own personal gameplay because they're on the 3DS and I don't have a 3DS capture card. I did play them though, here they are on my 3DS. I don't think I was going to say this, but I like this game. Sonic Boom Shatter Crystal has a simple plot. Snake guy named Lyric from that thing captures Amy because he wants information on the thing. So yeah, we gotta save Amy, just like the old games. So the gameplay is great. You do have a dash button, but unlike Sonic Lost World where it barely even felt like a dash, here it actually feels fast. Pairing that with character actions and platforming, and you can get some smooth and satisfying momentum going. There are 4 playable characters, of course the classic Sonic heroes, but also Sonic Boom original character Styx. Each character has a different action to help get through levels. Sonic can dash in the air, Tails glides, Styx has her boomerang, and Knuckles can dig. You mostly use these powers to find the collectibles in the levels, like blueprints and the shattered crystals. With all these things, this game feels like a weird mishmash of Sonic, Metroidvania, and Mario, and it all somehow works. This game was fun to play, and I'm most likely going to come back to it later to complete it. Why couldn't this have been the main game advertised for Sonic Boom? I don't think anyone would have had a problem with— okay, well, any fandom has a problem with everything, I retract that statement. After that, I'm excited to see how the sequel, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, hopefully improves on Shatter Crystal. I wouldn't really say this game is better, but it's definitely still a good game. The mechanic here, like the title says, is to envelop your character in a fire and ice aura, allowing you to melt ice or freeze water. This mechanic, when used properly, like in the special stages rooms, can be pretty fun. You toggle the powers with L and R, and doing it on the fly while trying to keep your momentum going is pretty satisfying. Other than that, the game is pretty much the same, except now you have all 5 of the Sonic Boom characters to choose from. I'd say my 2 main criticisms with this game is the music isn't as good as the first and sometimes feels too similar. And unlike the first game, when you change characters, like in the air or in the middle of another action, you can't cancel one character's action into the next. Lame. But you'll forget about all these when you watch the cutscenes. I don't know if they actually got the show writers to come on for this game, but the writing is better than Shattered Crystal. These games in the cartoon, I'll be honest, the Sonic Boom universe is still stupid and I prefer the one we already have, but they've made me warm up to it. It's kinda sad we probably won't be getting any more of these since the cartoon is cancelled and this game was released 5 years ago, and it seems like Sega wants to forget all about this moment in Sonic's history. You can tell because Sonic Mania ain't celebrating anything Sonic Boom related, and I don't understand how this game exists. The real basic story is that a bunch of Sonic fans who made fan games, ports, updates, remixes, somehow got hired by Sega to make a game for Sonic's 25th anniversary. Yeah, a company hired a bunch of fans to make a game for the fans. I've never heard of that happening ever. Sonic Mania takes place after Sonic 3 and Knuckles, claiming to be the true Sonic 4, even though I think Sonic 4 is fine, but whatever. Eggman created these new robots called the Hard-Boiled Heavies, who use these new MacGuffins called the Phantom Rubies to gain unlimited power, and send the Sonic heroes on a time-traveling journey to stop Eggman and his bots. The plot is a good reason to have you revisit old stages while exploring new ones, but this is a classic Sonic game, so who cares about the plot, it's about the gameplay. And yeah, it's really good. They really took everything about the Genesis-era Sonic games and put them here. Everything. Now I'm definitely more a modern Sonic guy since I started playing around the adventure titles, and this game was made mostly for those who were fans and grew up with the old school stuff. Even though it's not made for me, I can't not like this game, mostly because it's good and it's basically a fan game. Officially a licensed fan game, sorry, I can't get over that. How does this game exist? It's jam-packed with references, callbacks, and improvements to old levels that used to be complete bullshit. Now they're just kinda bullshit. It's got some new levels too, some based on concepts of Sonic levels that never saw the light of day. This game is just complemented by the stellar sprite work, the kick-ass music. Zone 1 of Studiopolis and Starlight Speedway are particularly favorites of mine. All I can say is, if you're a fan of Sonic, you need to play this game. It's a game for the fans, made by fans, and you can't go wrong with that. Alright, here we are, the last Sonic game I'm taking a look at, Sonic OC Maker. God, do I wish this game came out a decade ago when I was a teenager, because I would have loved this shit. Sonic Forces is a disappointment. I don't think the game is terrible. It has a lot of questionable decisions, though. The story is Eggman pretty much won and has conquered the world and imprisoned Sonic, so your character is a recruit in the resistance to defeat him. Pretty grand-scale story, kinda reminds me of Sonic Sat AM or the comics. I don't get why some characters are around though, like why Silver here? Why is Classic Sonic here? And playable. Kinda undermines how unique Sonic Generations was. And the characters say all this serious stuff and taking this all seriously, but I don't know, man, it just seems kinda weird. Like, why is this grand epic story happening to the Sonic characters? Like, am I the only one that can't take this seriously? Is it just me? Unfortunately, the gameplay doesn't save it. Most levels as modern Sonic, you just hold boost to win. That's it. The only reason to platform is to get the red ring collectibles. Other than that, just boost and you'll reach the end real easy. Classic Sonic doesn't feel as good as Generations for some reason. He feels a bit floatier and slower, making some platforming harder than it should be. The ones with your OC play like modern Sonic, but you just mow down everything in your path with your Wisp powers. Yeah, Wisps are back too. Again, why are they in every modern Sonic game now? The levels feel really short too. I mean, they have some good music though, specifically the ones your OC gets. Kind of a funky electronica techno thing. I know a lot about music. I think most of the focus was spent on avatar customization because you get a lot of stuff from completing levels. Like way too much. I'd say Sonic Forces is underwhelming. Yeah, it makes you feel cool with every Sonic character thinking you're hot shit and mowing down everything like you're playing Samurai Warriors. But ultimately it doesn't feel as big and grand as I think it wanted to be. Hopefully Sonic Frontiers is going to be the next game that will hopefully get Sonic out of this rut that he's been in for, I don't know, depending on who you ask. Until then, we have all these Sonic games to play, and I played a lot. Yeah, I didn't play everyone, I left out some for my own personal reasons or just not being able to get my hands on them. But I'd say I'm pretty well versed in Sonic games now. With all this Sonic under my belt, I think I can determine mathematically what is the objectively best Sonic game. It's not Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's not Colors. It's not CD. So that obviously leaves one logical option, right? The objectively best Sonic game, without question, is Sonic X on Leapster.
Find the number 95. 95.
Super, Sonic!
Godlike.
Don't forget to subscribe!